Odessa's dying wish was a tether, binding Gameon McDole to a path he could not unchoose. To find Mathiu in the village of Seika, to deliver her earrings and with them, the heartbeat of the Liberation Army. Gameon clutched the delicate silver in his palm, its weight far greater than its size. The road to Seika stretched south, a ribbon of dust and danger winding through fields bruised by autumn's chill. Gameon's steps were steady but heavy, each one shadowed by the memory of Odessa's blood-streaked hair and the fire in her eyes. His companions moved close, their faces etched with resolve and loss, the rebellion's spark now theirs to carry. Before Seika lay the Fortress of Kwaba, a monolith of iron and stone squatting astride the path. Like a gatekeeper of fate, the fortress was a chokehold, a place where travelers were scrutinized and rebels met their end. Gameon's pulse quickened as they approached, the air thick with the scent of oil and steel. Soldiers patrolled the gates, their armor clanking in rhythm, eyes scanning for any hint of defiance. Stolteheim Rheinbach Forf. Gameon picked a fake name, half-jokingly. Kwaba is guarded by Lord Eingid, an old friend of Teo McDole, and he might recognize Gameon. With their fake names decided, Gameon and his entourage is now ready to get through the fortress. "You there! I am talking to you!" One of the soldiers guarding the fortress passage barked. "What me, sir? I am just a poor seller of jujubes with hungry mouths to feed back home." Victor responded while the rest of the group tightened. Their cloaks, heads bowed to blend with the weary merchants and farmers shuffling through. "What's the matter here?" Eingid asked, a tall and slender man with eyes sharp like razors. The soldiers seemed to have recognized Gameon and had caused a commotion. "Young man, show me your face," Eingid said, pointing towards the direction of Gameon. "I have had it with you! You have been nothing but trouble for us!" Gremio shouted suddenly. "You are suspected of being some kind of fugitive. You can't even breathe without causing problems. Sir, if you find him suspicious, I will be willing to lop his head off right here and now." Gremio continued his last-ditch attempt to not blow their cover. "Hold on now," the other soldier said. "No, sir. I couldn't live with the guilt of having harbored a wanted man. Prepare to die, you scoundrel," Gremio said as he raised his axe. "There is no way the son of Teo McDole would be caught dead dressing like a beggar. You are all free to go," Eingid said. The group slipped through, hearts pounding. "Hey kid, take good care of your father," Eingid added. Those words seemed to hide a different meaning. The group merged on the far side of the fortress. Gameon exhaled, the earrings still safe, their purpose intact. "Forgive me, young master. Even if my intention was to save us from danger, I took it too far," Gremio said with remorse. "Come on, Gremio. Quit being a drama queen. We got away. That's all that matters. Gameon got a big heart. I am sure he understands," Victor said. "I understand, Gremio." Gameon was actually thankful for what Gremio did. However, he was also sure that Eingid had already saw through their disguise and still let them past. Beyond Kwaba, the land softened, rolling into hills kissed by the first frost. Seika lay nestled in a valley, its wooden rooftops peeking through a haze of chimney smoke, a quiet haven untouched by the Empire's iron fist. The search began, with cautious steps, Gameon's eyes scanning every face for a hint of Mathiu. There, amidst the crowd, a figure caught his gaze. A man standing apart, his frame lean but steady, his eyes sharp with a quiet intensity that seemed to pierce the world's veil. His clothes were simple, a teacher's modest garb, yet he carried an air of authority, as if he saw paths others could not. The group approached. The man's gaze met theirs, calm but guarded, like a lake hiding depths unseen. When they inquired about Mathiu, he paused, his expression unreadable. With a subtle gesture, he pointed towards a house up a series of steps. "It is the house just up those steps." The door was plain, its wood scarred by time, yet it seemed to hum with purpose, as if it guarded more than a home. Within the house echoed the voices of children. When asked about Mathiu, the children replied that he had gone out for a walk. Could the man they met just now be Mathiu? The group asked themselves. Victor was the first to react. You bastard! Tried to fool us, did you? You are Mathiu. Yes, I am Mathiu. What can I do for you? The man stood unmoved, his posture open yet unyielding. We have come here to honor Odessa's final wish, Gremio said. Final wish? I see. So she is dead. She was a good kid before she got mixed up in all that nonsense, Mathiu replied with nonchalance. All that nonsense? You were saying everything Odessa stood for was nonsense? Victor was getting increasingly agitated. Yes, she acted foolishly. I knew it would eventually come to this. I can't accept the earring. Now please leave, Mathiu said as he made his way back to his house. The group followed, but were once again rejected. They left the house and stood outside, deliberating their next move. Just then, a group of Imperial soldiers barged through them and went right towards Mathiu's house. Out of the way, they barked. Curious, the group returned to the house to see what would transpire. What are you doing? Release the child, Mathiu said, now less composed as he was before. Mathiu Silverberg, you are hereby ordered back into the service of the Imperial Army. One of the soldiers who was grabbing a child said, the greatest military strategist of our time shouldn't be whiling away his days in some wretched backwater village. You are the hero of the Battle of Kaleka, another soldier said. I refuse. I have had enough of war and conflict. These days I am nothing but a powerless recluse. Mathiu replied. His voice was firm. Rejected, the soldiers then resorted to threats. We will see what happens to the boy. How about a trip to the Banar mines? They work them hard down there. Who knows if he will survive? One of the soldiers said with a smirk. Mathiu once again demanded the child to be released, but to no avail. Things are looking grim. What should we do, young master? Gremio asked. Let's see how this plays out. Gameon decided to wait before interfering. Suddenly, the child managed to wriggle out of the soldier's grasp and ran back to Mathiu. How dare you! Arrest them all! The soldier shouted. Victor pounced into action. Not so fast. You are gonna have to go through us first, he said, hand ready to grab his sword. Who the hell are you? The soldier asked. Just some champions of justice who happened by. Gameon replied, grinning, and readied his staff. The fight broke out, but the soldiers were no match for Gameon's group. Within a minute or two, the Imperial soldiers had all fallen. How horrible. All this killing in front of children, Mathiu said. After the fight, Mathiu's attitude shifted. I know who you are. You are Gameon, son of General Teo McDole. I still have a few friends within the Imperial army who keep me in the loop, Mathiu said. Those Imperial soldiers called you Mathiu Silverberg, Gameon queried. That is right. Odessa Silverberg was my sister, Mathiu replied, finally disclosing his relationship with Odessa. Then why did you say those things about her? Cleo asked. I made a decision to never again involve myself in any form of warfare or conflict, but not Odessa. She chose to fight, for her beliefs, always had to put herself in the middle of it all. What did she tell you about me? Mathiu responded, his eyes softened a little, a different look from when he first met the group. That you were a man who lived in Seika, Cleo answered. I see. I guess she never did forgive me. Odessa once said that only a coward would have power and not use it. Mathiu turned away from the group, his voice with a hint of sorrow. The truth is, I am a coward. I chose to be one rather than witness anything so horrible ever again, even if it meant being renounced by my own sister. Mathiu continued. What did you witness? Gameon was curious. I watched people die because of my own actions, both friend and foe alike. But today, I have realized that running away was wrong. Closing my eyes to the world doesn't make it disappear. Mathiu said, now facing the group, eyes gazing into Gameon's. From this day onward, I will strive for what Odessa fought for. Mathiu's voice was firm. Then will you accept the earring? Gameon stepped forward with the earring. No, Gameon, you should hold on to it, Mathiu said. But Lady Odessa... Gameon was hesitant. I think Odessa would have wanted you to have it. I am a skilled military strategist, but I am no leader. You have what it takes. Odessa must have thought so as well. That is why she sent you to me. Mathiu continued, looking into Gameon's eyes. Please, Gameon, accept this earring and take on Odessa's legacy as leader of the Liberation Army. I will do it, Gameon replied. He could no longer turn back now. Gameon was now Commander Gameon, leader of the Liberation Army. Both Cleo and Gameon gave their unwavering support. As strategist for the Liberation Army, Mathiu gave his first advice. The Liberation Army needed a proper headquarters so that they could recruit more people, a place large enough to withstand an assault by the Imperial Army. In the middle of Lake Toran was an abandoned castle. The next task for Gameon and his team would be to acquire the castle. In order to get there, they would need someone to bring them to castle from the nearby fishing village of Kaku. The air was crisp, scented with frost and earth, as the group turned their sights to a new goal, a castle rising from the heart of Lake Toran, its stone walls a symbol of defiance waiting to be claimed. To reach it, they needed a boat, and for that a man named Tai Ho, a fisherman in the coastal town of Kaku. The road to Kaku stretched south, a dusty ribbon flanked by fields of fading gold and windswept dunes. The castle loomed in his mind's eye, its towers piercing the lake's mist, a stronghold that could anchor the rebellion's dreams. Kaku appeared as the sun dipped low, its rooftops a jumble of weathered wood hugging the shore. The town was alive with the sea's rhythm. Gulls wheeled overhead, their cries sharp against the crash of waves, while docks creaked under the weight of boats bobbing in the tide. The air was thick with brine and smoke, fish sizzling over open fires, their scent weaving through the bustle of fishermen, hauling catches and merchants bartering in the square. Tai-Ho was here somewhere, a man whose skill with boats could carry them to Toran's heart. But finding him in Kaku's chaos was no simple task. Gameon's steps slowed, his gaze caught by a sudden stir near a tavern's weathered door. A woman stood there, her presence a spark in the crowd's hum. She was tall, her frame lean but coiled, like a blade waiting to be drawn. You messed with the wrong woman. I am Camille the she-devil, and I will collect your debt, even from beyond the grave. The woman is Camille, and she claimed the gremio owed her a debt. You are in debt, Gremio? Cleo asked. No, of course not, Gremio insisted. Trying to weasel your way out? Well, unfortunately for you, I have got proof. Take a good look. Camille handed a bill to Gremio. Ah, this is the bill for Master Teo's banquet. There is also my tab at the tavern. What? You want me to pay all this right now? Gremio exclaimed. Look, we are in something of a tight spot at the moment and unfortunately short on potch, Victor interjected. By the way, you seem to be acquainted with Tai-Ho, Victor asked. Camille insisted that she wanted the debt to be repaid immediately. Then how about this? We are short on money right now, but once we find Tai-Ho, we may be able to get some, and as soon as we have the money, we will pay you back, Victor said. After a little bit more convincing, Camille was willing to compromise. She would join the group to make sure Gremio would repay the debt after they had the money. With the lead from Camille, Gameon and his team could finally meet Tai-Ho, the man who would bring them to the castle. Tai-Ho ran a small gambling den at the basement of the tavern. What? You want to take a boat to Toran Castle? That place is teeming with monsters. I would be risking my life taking you there. Tai-Ho said, his eyes sharp as a gull's gleamed, with a rogue's cunning. A fisherman's rough tunic clung to him, but his easy swagger hinted at a man who sailed where others faltered, loyal to coin and whim above any empire's banner. Yam Ku lingered near Tai-Ho, his broad shoulders and calloused hands marking a life bound to nets and oars. His face, weathered yet kind, held eyes that sparkled with quiet loyalty, reflecting the sea's depths and a brother's unspoken bond. Clad in a simple tunic, he moved with a fisherman's steady grace, his calm presence an anchor to Tai-Ho's restless tide. For Tai-Ho to bring the group to the castle, Gameon needed to beat Tai-Ho in a game of dice. Taiho failed to roll a good hand 3 times in a row, and with a stroke of luck, Gameon was able to get a decent roll on his second attempt. Oh, you are quite the lucky guy. Just so happens I make a habit of going along with folk who are lucky. Taiho said, grinning. Hey Yamku, let's go prepare the boat, Taiho said, gesturing his loyal friend to follow. With the boat ride secured, the group was ready to make their way to Toran Castle. However, Gameon had heard that the castle was a treacherous place, crawling with monsters. To be prepared for the upcoming battles, the group would need to train themselves up, equip new and stronger armors, and sharpen their weapons. The group would first journey to the nearby village of the Great Forest, as rumors were that they could level themselves up quickly and earn a good sum of money by battling the monsters there. The journey from Kaku began with the sea's salt. Still clinging to Gameon's cloak, the fishing town's docks fading into a haze of gulls and creaking boats as the group struck inland. Their path wound through coastal dunes, where coarse grass hissed in the wind, giving way to rolling hills dappled with autumn's fading gold, the air sharp with earth and pine. The Empire's shadow lingered, distant banners flickered on ridges. But the land felt wilder here, its pulse untamed, urging the group toward a canopy that loomed like a green sea under the noon sun. By dusk, the great forest swallowed them, its ancient boughs weaving a twilight world where every rustle hinted at peril, and Gameon's hand rested on his staff, ready for the battles to come. In the great forest, the air thickened with moss and decay, and the first enemies struck without warning, kobolds, holly elves, and others. Gameon's staff flashed, battling the enemies as his companions fanned out, axes, swords, and spears clashing. Each fight left Gaemon's heart pounding, the forest's menace a crucible forging their resolve, its shadows yielding only to the rebellion's unyielding spark. The group got stronger with every fight and also richer. With the money, Gaemon could sharpen their weapons at the local blacksmith, and they could even journey to the village of Kuan for some good armors. We have reached the end of the episode, and if you have enjoyed the video, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more. In the next episode, Gaemon and his group would journey to the castle at the heart of Lake Toran. Would the team succeed in acquiring a castle to call home? Stay tuned for the next one.